All right, music fans, welcome back. It is Dave, the Real Music Observer, observing real music in real time for real people just like you right there and just like me. All right, so I'm still pondering this Vince Gill in the Eagles thing, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know it's tortured, and but I spent some time Googling the crap out of the internet and looking for videos of Vince Gill singing Eagles tunes. And the one that comes up the most, and pretty much only, is his version of I Can't Tell You Why, which of course was on Common Thread, which was a tribute to the Eagles at the time and had all these country artists that came forward and said, hey. And then the Eagles after that said, wow, people still like us, and hell froze over. But what's weird is that's a Tim Schmidt tune, okay? And Tim Schmidt is already in the band. He didn't quit, he didn't leave, he didn't get fired, although maybe maybe it's going to happen soon. Maybe they brought Vince in. Maybe Irv Azoff said, hey, Tim Schmidt, he wants out soon, so bring Vince in so he can sing Timmy songs when Tim quits. Well, Tim is still there. He's on tour. And he must be thinking to himself, why did they bring Vince Gill in? He's got the same voice as I do. And yeah, now Vince is singing Take It to the Limit. And the weird thing is, I Googled again a lot, and I couldn't find Tim Schmidt singing Take It to the Limit. Closest I got was Randy Meisner, Richard Marx, and Timothy B. Schmidt on the same stage, and they're doing the song. They're doing Take It to the Limit, but Randy is singing it, and then Richard Marx, who tortures it, sings some of it. And I sort of like Richard Marx, but he had this thing Richard Marx did for the whole Poco reunion, and like he was the architect of their sound, and he did produce the song Nothing to Hide with Randy Meisner, and he did an okay job with it, trying to model this super power ballad thing that Randy did on. But it was lightning in a bottle. You're not going to catch that twice. I love Randy, so I love the song because of Randy, not because of Richard Marx's attempt at trying to recapture 70s glory. It didn't work on that level. But here's the thing. Why do you need Vince Gill in the Eagles? Is it because maybe Timmy's going to quit soon? Is it just for name recognition? Is it Irv Azoff saying, hey, it's star power, this will bring all the country rock people in, and that's your core audience? It's always been that way, even though you've had these two little albums called Hotel California and The Long Run, which really don't resemble country rock albums. In fact, one of these nights was starting to transition out of that, thanks to Don Felder, who's also not on stage. And I'm sure Don Felder at this point wouldn't want to sing anything, even though he wanted to sing Victim of Love. Although I'd rather hear Don Felder sing Victim of Love than Vince Gill try to sing Take It to the Limit. That's just what I'm saying here. And look, for Eagles fans, for hardcore fans, you don't care. You've spent $1,000 on 2 tickets. You're going to spend another 10 or 15 to park the car. You're going to buy a t-shirt that'll cost you 40. Maybe you'll buy a program if they still have those for 20. A beer will cost you 7 or 8 bucks. And you've got the dough. You know what I'm saying? You've got the money, and it's an experience at this point. It's just a cultural experience, and Vince Gill is a placeholder for this cultural experience. But for music fans like myself, I want to hear authenticity. Vince Gill, yeah, he's got, I guess, some mojo, some street cred with the Eagles because of I Can't Tell You Why, but he's there and he's not singing I Can't Tell You Why because Tim is there. So it kind of defeats the purpose. He should have waited until Tim left the band. And as far as this, oh, he's a great guitar player, Don Henley, oh, he's one of the finest guitar players. What about Joe Walsh? What about Stuart Smith? You got these guys on stage. What about Felder, who you wouldn't bring back in the band because he wrote a book and he was courageous enough to tell what was going on, and you were all mad because he told the truth and you didn't refute any of it. You just said, oh, it's like the Family Guy coming forward and saying, bad things about us. Not the actual Family Guy from the Family Guy show. I'm just saying. Uh, that just came out weird. The point being is Vince Gill isn't really needed in the Eagles. He's just not. The more I see him up there, the more I just scratch my head. I listened to his version of Old 55 the other night, and, Deacon should be singing it. It's a Deacon Don Henley thing, duet, because Don Henley has some vocal parts in it as well. And, maybe Vince could add some nice harmonies, but that's why you have Tim Schmidt and Joe Walsh. And, speaking of singing, Joe Walsh really sounding like the cat whose tail got caught in the window when you slammed it. I mean, granted, even Glenn Fry said we lost a little bit when we brought Joe in for vocal capabilities, but you've got an old sort of squeaky, scraggly sounding Joe Walsh, although he hits the notes, but he sounds a lot different from what he used to sound. But anyway, people at that point have already consumed a lot of beer, and life's been good. And at that point, life's very good because Joe Walsh is singing, and you can scratch that off your bucket list. All right, I'm done venting. It's just my opinion. That's what this channel is all about. It's about me and my opinion. You can agree, you can disagree. I just don't think there's any need for Vince Gill being in the Eagles, and I think I've laid out a pretty good case as to why. All right, I'm done. I'll talk to you soon. Have a great day or have a great night or whatever time it is when you watch this video.